Greetings and salutations, race fans, motorsport lovers, and others, and welcome to episode 104 of Waved Yellow. We're not in our studio, as you guessed. We're back at the Higher Ground restaurant in the grounds of St. Stithians. How's it, Gary? Are you well?
I'm very well, Colin, and yourself.
Fabulous, thanks. Now, you will see our guest is Ricky Giannoccaro, and welcome, Ricky. He got held up in traffic today. So Ricky is on his way. He's close by, and we're going to talk to him about the upcoming G&H Transport Supercar race at Swartkorps this weekend. A couple of really cool things happening around that. And, well, we look forward to him joining us a little bit later. Glass of water. Everything is really good. So what happened? You know the format of Waved Yellow. We go through some stuff about what happened. We'll talk about what is and what we're busy doing, and then we'll look forward to the week and some other significant things. We've got some news of the 9-hour, Kyle Army 9-hour on the 22nd and 23rd of November, and we're going to talk about some tickets. We're going to recap a little bit on some drivers, and we're just going to talk about 9-hour. 9-hour is going to be fantastic. Graham Cooper, if you're watching, do yourself a favor, get your ticket. It's really going to be great. So Kevin Harvick wins in Texas, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So he's locked himself a place in the playoff. And then we can't talk about Texas, Gary, without talking about the Grand Prix and Lewis Hamilton. For the record, I'm not a huge Lewis Hamilton fan, but I tell you what, I do admire him as a race car driver. He's probably the best and fastest and most completerist Formula One driver we've ever seen in the world, ever. And I include in that Ayrton Senna, Michael Schumacher, Alan Prost, and the others that you might come out. If you've got any comments, queries, questions, stick them on the comment lines at the bottom, and Gary will read them out, and we'll discuss them, and we'll talk about them. So congratulations to Lewis and Mercedes on winning 6. It's kind of it's an incredible feat, and not to take away from Toto Wolff and the environment that he's created in that team, and that whole talking to some of the successful drivers and drivers who've gone through a rough patch and who've now come into a successful patch. The environment and peace of mind and quietness of mind plays a large part of the success, and I think that they've created and I hate using the word culture, but an environment where people are free to express themselves and to make mistakes without being blamed. And I think that possibly some of the fear of failure is holding the Italian team back, where instead of having a go and having that confidence that your team are going to back you up, I think that they've got issues. Never mind the fuel flow and some of the other stuff that happened. So this last weekend, birthdays. I don't know what happened. Ricky has just arrived. Come and join us, Ricky. We're right here. We're live. We're going. He's arrived. Ricky, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. How was the traffic?
It was a little bit crazy, eh? Coming all the way from Kempton side, yeah, it's not the most ideal situation, but yeah, we drive a Merc, we get through the traffic, it's okay.
We were just talking about Merc and 6 times world champions, and we got you a glass of water because we know that you're an athlete in training. Lamborghini, it's number 75. We're looking forward to this weekend?
Yeah, looking very much forward to this weekend, eh? First time in the car since the hill climb.
That's a long, long time ago. Ricky, we're just going through some of the stuff that happened in the past, and then we're going to spend some time on this coming weekend in the G&H Transport Supercar race.
Welcome, young man.
Welcome.
Ain't seen you for a while.
It's been a while, yeah.
Is your car ready?
Oh, it was really a long time ago.
Okay, cool. That's all.
Birthdays. Richard Leak was earlier this week. Heinz Bazay is today. Roy Aubrey was earlier this week. Gary, I want to know, I'm just trying to work out now. We're in November. I'm taking 9 months back from November. That's 11 months. So we're looking at the beginning of February. Basically,
Yeah.
These are all January payday babies. Sorry about that, but hey, maths is my thing.
You're talking about Roy Aubrey.
Aubrey, yeah.
Yeah, I believe he's going to be your teammate or you're going to be his teammate this weekend.
Yeah, but he's in a Haval. I'm in a Ferrari. But
Okay.
we'll talk about
We'll
that
talk
later.
about that later. I just thought I'd
We're
bring
getting
it up
to that.
when we
We're
get-
getting to that. What else happened? Oh, South African cross-country series in Parijs. Really brilliant event. Henk and I went down there just for a couple of chats and some meetings. Henk Ladeghan and... It's not Henk Ladeghan, the other Henk from RaceDay.tv. Henk Ladeghan, Brett Cummings won. Youngest champion is Henk. Brett Cummings, first try, really well done. And there's Hank's, I think, 24, and there's a maturity that's come over him and recently, and the ability to look after cars. And going back to what I was saying about that confidence about the environment. When
Yeah.
your environment is hectic, you're not going to perform. If your environment is relatively calm and under control, I think that he's showing it. Chris Visser and Donnie Stassen were second in the WCT engineering run Toyota. And then Toyota came third on countback. Shamir Veriawa and Joan Moore were third with Marcus Baumgart and Kleber Sinchera in the Ford. And that was a Class T Ford, and they won the manufacturers. Very interesting to see the amount of people from Ford there. And Ford are going into the FIA class next year, and they haven't chosen a V8 motor because the whole of Ford Motorsport globally, apart from NASCAR, is going to the V6 turbo layout. That is going to be quite interesting. I see they just announced an entry in the Baja 1000.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
It's also got the V6 turbo. So that's going to be super cool to see how the balance of performance gets weighed up within the FIA class with the turbo cars. Today, Bloodhound went 501 miles an hour, which I think is an absolutely 800 and something kilometers an hour. For those pedantics amongst you, I always just multiply miles by 1.6. But it's 1.6038943278445 and a shed load of decimals to get to where you want. But hey, we'll just go with 1.6. Does that work for you, Ricky?
I'll round it off. Why not?
I mean, hey, what's a few kilometers an hour between friends? So 501 miles an hour, and it was significant for a number of reasons. It was a milestone target. It's a number, and speed is just a number. But more importantly, they got over some of the damage that is caused by the harshness of the pan. And interestingly, that sand is not just sand. There's a lot of diamond dust in it. And diamond dust is kind of hard.
Like abrasive.
Gary?
Yeah.
It sparkles.
As we
and
saw on some of the titanium
it's-
plates on the back of the wheel, on the wishbones of the wheels.
Were they titanium?
I was under the impression they were.
I didn't know about that, but they put some duck stuff in there and made it work. So 501 miles an hour, congratulations, well done. And it was the double parachute deployment. They start around about, 5 kilometers from the start. It was 5 kilometers, 5 miles, whatever it is, 5. And the thing is to make sure that both chutes are deploying properly, and in the tests that they're running, it's not about getting speed now. It hasn't got its jet motor fitted to it. That'll come when they come back. And if I look at the seasons, when the rain is coming, I think that they will be back mid-October next year. I'm going to pin in that too. If I look at the seasons and the rain and the stars and the other stuff, that's when I think they will be back. In the Al Ula Rally, Yasser in the Mini is pinning them. And the reason we bring this up is that Fernando is running this rally as well. Glenn left on Saturday morning to fly there and to oversee the test. Yazid is also in a Toyota. And Fernando, it's the first test of what they're going to see in Dakar. And we are really looking forward to Dakar. We're trying very hard to get to Dakar, but there are issues about who owns what you can show and what you can't show, and the rights of the Frenchmen. We've got to be nice because we are nice. So, episode 104 of Waved Yellow, Ricky. Kempton Park's far, far away. And you came in a Merc or a BM?
No, Mercedes-Benz. Not
And interestingly, you've got some proper navigation on there because when you sent me the voicemail saying that you were battling with the traffic, what's going on in there? Is that heart rate as well?
Yeah, that tells me the heart rates. You know, we were so eager to get here. It raced. I mean, we struck 185. I mean, so excited to sit with Gary and Colin for a change. I mean, it's been a while.
Your heart rate was faster than the car.
No, nothing's that
185.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, if you've got any questions around Swart Corps and in particular for Ricky and anything around G&H Transport Extreme Supercars, put them in the comments and Gary will read them. It's
Our
been...
favourite boss, our favourite boss viewer, Mr. Ian Pepper. And I'll read it as it's written, okay? Because that's the only way it's going to work out. I can't do it anyway. So what is Chubby driving this weekend? I'm just
Who
saying.
the is Chubby?
Yeah.
Ian, yeah, that's me. And this thing's not about me, it's about racing. But I have embarked on an experience, and we'll talk about that a little bit now. I'm going to keep you holding, so to keep you online and get the viewership figures right.
So you can
we'll
find out
get
later.
to me and this opportunity that we're driving, but it's red. You've been out for a while. You've got your Lamborghini back again. You looking forward with excitement and a bit of anticipation to this race, Ricky?
Yeah, look, I mean, Colin, I've been out since I went in for surgery on the 23rd of May. And the recovery's taken so long, and I finally got the clearance to drive this weekend, and the old man's new car has arrived. So it was time to boot him out of my car and let me take my car back. And yeah, look, I'm really excited for this weekend. It's the first one in a while.
Talk us through your surgery. It was you had a bad crash, you messed your hip up, they fixed you the hip, and that didn't work so good, so they needed to take some stuff out. What did they actually do? And talk us through how that surgery went.
So basically what it was just after the hill climb, we started to pick up a bit of niggle here and there, because originally we went in and we had a fixation. It wasn't a hip, we broke the pelvis. So I had the pelvis, a titanium claw put inside so they could hold everything. And strangely enough, and listen, guys, in a woman from week 32 to 38 when they're pregnant, like the pelvis opens to give birth. Mine was opening, and no.
So you like a girl?
Kinda, yeah, but let's not go down that road.
You raised it, Ricky.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Just relax, calm down.
So basically your pelvis was opening and your hips were getting wider and wider, and it wasn't all the beer you were drinking. It was actually the bones that were separating.
Yeah, basically they were moving. So I went to my good old faithful Dr. Julian in Pretoria East. He took a look at it and he just said to me like this, listen, let's not waste time, we'll go in. So we went in and we removed the fixation and we put another fixation in.
A fixation is basically a big titanium plate.
Yeah, it's like a prosthesis. So so at the bottom of my...
Has it got a hole in the back so that the stuff can get out?
Yeah, kind of.
You know what this is like. We call it waved yellow because you've got to be prepared. Nobody knows what's going to happen, least of all us. So they took it out and they put a new one in.
Yeah, they took it out, put a new one in, and then I think it's called the scagliatic joint at the bottom of the spine. We fused that to the pelvis plate, and the pelvis and the spine are a little bit fused at the moment, and it's taken 3-4 months to get where we are. Started cycling recently. I took the car out about, I'd say 3 or 4 weeks ago, just to give it a bit of a shakedown to see how I could feel in it, and it all seemed well, and went for a clearance last week, and he says I'm good to go, so we're ready to rock and roll now.
And what are you expecting out of this weekend?
Well, look, I know the battle for Class A champion is really hot, so I'm going to go and try and help my brother. So, it's him and Alwyn. Alwyn, listen, there's nothing against you, but blood is thicker than water, so I have to.
And he's not just your brother, he's your twin brother.
Yeah, he's my twin brother, he's my teammate, and as much...
And you Italians, there's familia.
Yeah, no, it's familiar. And, he gives me such uphill. That guy is so full of nonsense. But I got to go and help, try and run some intervention, if that's the right word for him, and we'll take it from there. Hopefully, with one lap to go, I'll pull over and let him take the lead. So,
Oh, fighting talk, hey. So your plan is to run in the lead and let him past, as a big brother does.
yeah, as a big brother does. Yeah, let's. I'll give you this one, Johnny. We'll just put it out there to everyone out there. I'm gonna give Johnny this one, so I'll pull over.
It's always good to put the cards out because when it comes time to collect, it's a lot easier if you've given before you collect.
Oh, 100%, 100%. So he can't come to me afterwards and say, oh, yeah, no, I was beating you anyway. So it's I'm just going to play the role here and put it out there and say, I will hang back for my brother.
And what is it about racing that gets you going? I know that you love it, and I know just from the discussions and your voice changes and you get all excited about it. What is it about racing that blows your hair back?
I just think it's the sheer adrenaline and the exhilaration of being out there, rubbing doors. I think it's just, I don't know, Colin, it's hard to explain. I mean, I do all forms. That's why, whether it's on 2 wheels or 4 wheels, we're going to race it. Because it's that adrenaline pumping, the excitement being amongst other competitors. And like I said, whether it's banging handlebars or rubbing doors, just racing is just, it's unreal.
I'm worried about this rubbing doors stuff. I thought that G&H was for gentlemen drivers who don't bump and bash.
It is. But there is normally, there's always the one bad boy in the field that likes to give a bit of a nudge here, a bit of a nudge there.
Who's the bad boy in the field?
Well, from my past experience, it's Alwyn. Alwyn, no offense, but yeah, you drilled me the last round, so...
Does he get a bit... I mean, if Ian Pepper was driving in this thing, I'd watch out for him. Ian Pepper, Richard Rutz. I'd be terrified if they... Well, not terrified, but I'd just be checking out because they... Shall we call it robust drivers?
Let me tell you, I've seen Ian Pepper on a bike. That guy is phenomenal. I mean, there's not even an understatement. He is fast. So, yeah, I maybe wouldn't want to rub doors with him on the track. So, no, but Alwyn's actually such a good oak. It was a bit of a it was a mishap. It happened. It was one of those things in racing.
What actually happened? Talk us through it.
So Alwyn came in hot into turn 2 at Swartkops. I was in front of him and he missed his brake marker and he clipped me on the back right of the car. It ruined his race. It ruined the whole front end of his car and it kind of put me out for the rest of the event. We bent some control arms and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, he came, he apologized, we shook hands. That's what mates do and he didn't buy me a water, Alwyn. Not at all. I mean, still waiting. It's how many months down the line? And anyway, yeah, so it was just, it's an unfortunate thing and it happened. One of these things. What can you do?
Right, so moving on. I'm led to believe that first practice is at early o'clock. What's your plan for first practice? I'm looking for hints.
Well, Colin, my plan's a bit different to most people. I've got a superstition so that I normally don't practice on a Friday. But I think I'll come out. Look, obviously we're going to come out and, it's just to get a feel for the car. I think kind of get your tire pressures where you want them. Obviously you'll find out if the car's oversteering, understeering, so you can make more improvements through the day for your, I think, practice 2, practice 3. Going into quali, you can be on spec from the word go, so if I was you, I'd start doing practice 1.
Talking about if I was me. Ian, to answer your question, there's a couple of months ago, in fact a long, long time ago in the distant past, Harry Arangis from Stradali Motorsport started talking to me about driving one of their cars and doing some talking about driving it, and it morphed to the point where Stradali they prepare cars and for their own cars, they prepare cars for other people, and they also hire out drives. So I'm the guinea pig of a racing experience in a Ferrari 360. It's a red car that Harry has driven, and the concept is that I go and drive this car and share my experience of an old fart who loves racing who wants to come and drive again. So it's around about 20 years ago since I last sat in a racing car and drove myself. and I've got a huge amount of anticipation. There are a couple of hoops that I've got to jump through. There are a couple of people who've really helped. So Stradati Motorsport, Vol Fluid, thank you very much for the opportunity. Pirelli Tyres, they came to the party with a super deal on the tyres. Gary?
Just thought people can see this.
Gary, we're a professional show now. Let's work on it. ATS Motorsport suppliers came to the agreement also with a really good deal on some race kit, particularly OMP. All really. Now I understand why you like that OMP stuff so well. Those boots are just, they fit me like a glove. The overall, originally, because my shoulders are so big, because I'm a strong athlete, needed to go up in one size. But it's really, really cool kit. You fully OMP, aren't you?
Yeah, no, we're fully OMP. I don't know if I can mention Quiver's Wrist sorted us out. As you've seen, we blinged up, Gen8 Transport boots, suits, gloves. So, yeah, look, OMP is a fantastic brand. I mean, it's the only brand that we currently use. We actually moved from Alpine Star to OMP.
Because OMP is also Italian.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
I'll give you another fact. OMP have just acquired Bell helmets.
Oh, wow, seriously?
In the last week or so, and they've got a whole lot of... Yes, it's a blooming... We've got to sing for our supper around here. But anyway, look, I really do like their stuff. It's really, really cool. So the next little trick that I had to go through, being a smidgen over 50, is I have to get a license. So part of that is a medical and a stress ECG, and apparently I do have a heart. Whether it they say the one doctor found a heart today, but I've got to go back to.
I want to know if it was pumping.
It was pumping.
It's working. Okay, cool.
I think it's working. So I've got to go back to another doctor who apparently knows about hearts and stuff to tell me if it's pumping the way it should pump. But hopefully that's just a minor little procedure, nothing to worry about. I'm not having a heart attack. It's just, I think my heart's fantastic, but.
You look good for 70. I mean, that's not bad.
Ricky, you say the loveliest things. Thanks, eh? 70.
There's a racetrack coming up this weekend.
And that's why I was getting a little bit worried when you say things get robust. My mission is to go out and experience a car and to just do some reasonably consistent times and stay out of everybody's way and have them stay out of my way, and come back with a car without a scratch on it, which I do regularly. It's on the odd occasion that there's been a minor scratch on a car that I've driven. But that's my mission, and to then report back on this experience of driving a car. So can you send a message to everybody else to just stay away from me?
Yeah, well, guys, refrain from hitting the red car. Colin, I think what it boils down to is, at the end of the day, I've got a bit of a philosophy. If you look, there's a lot of aggressive drivers out there, but I'd rather take it on the chin and say, all right, you can have that corner instead of taking a bent car home. Yeah. So I think if you just approach that and you keep that philosophy to yourself as well, you're going to take a car home in one piece.
My version is I've got nothing to prove. I've done my racing, I've won stuff and had a lot of fun, so I've got nothing to prove, and I just want to have a lot of fun and experience a Ferrari. I've never raced a Ferrari. I've raced just about every other car that's been sold in this country. I raced some really quick cars. Done 301 k's an hour down Kyalami Straight. Nothing to prove. So it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to that first session. Which is why I was asking. Brand new tires from Pirelli. How do you warm them up?
Well, look, we normally run on tire warmers, but
we got no tire warmers. You're just going to put it in the sun.
Yes.
Yeah, look, the sun should bake them. But, I mean, look, I think your first session is out at about 8:15 in the morning. Personal point of view, I would run on an old set of tires for that.
Guys at Stradali, I'm sure that you thought about this because they thought about everything else. We did a seat fitting, did the seat belts, and apparently we'll do the mirrors. I know where the start button is, the ignition, and where the radiator thing is. I know where the indicators. This one goes faster, this one goes slower, and there's two pedals. And what more can you know?
Yeah, look, I think that's about it, really. Obviously, brake, accelerator. Let's just put the pedal to the metal. Let's go. I think, Colin, you know what? for someone that hasn't raced in a while, this is, I won't say it's a rude awakening, because there are a lot of gentleman drivers that drive with us. It's a bunch of good guys, really it is. I mean, I think you're going to enjoy it. You're going to thoroughly enjoy it. I think after this experience, you're going to want to just go and lift the mattress, pull out some money and buy a Ferrari and join us on a regular basis.
I must say, what you say about a bunch of guys, there are a couple of series that I really love being involved in. No, we're getting there. We're getting there. There are a couple of series that I really love being involved in on the talking side of it and some of the characters. One of them is the SA Endurance series and just the whole vibe around that and the fact that you get so much track time during that series. And the other one is the G&H Transport Supercar series. There are a lot of characters there. There are a lot of quick drivers. There's some not so quick drivers. But everybody just seems to want to have fun and drive their cars and have fun.
Yeah, I think that is it. I mean, the G&H guys, like I said, there are a bunch of really funny guys, some characters. We all get along. Well, majority of us get along. So I think you're going to experience a different world with us now. I mean, it's one thing being on the one side, speaking to the drivers, getting to have a feel, because when the helmet's off, everyone is a gentleman and they speak to you nicely. But when the helmet's on, red mist, visor down, it's let's go. And
I know not of this red mist thing that you speak of.
Not according to some of the comments I'm reading.
Gary, they're all wrong. Read me one of those comments. I'll tell you they're all wrong. I was the calmest.
There's one here from Simon Morris. Question for you, Colin. What do you use to change direction when driving a car? Bit out of here. Another from Mike Nathan. I watched Colin in the old Masters Drivers competition, and he beat all the factory drivers. So no stress needed, Ricky. Old goat can possibly still pedal.
So does GOAT mean greatest of all time?
Well, when you talk about Lewis Hamilton, probably. But when you talk about me, I'm just an old fart.
Okay, then we got one from Cameron Foster. Maybe we should get you back in a Group 1 Datsun 140Y SDX when it's finished.
Cameron, that's an invite. Now, there's a story behind that car.
I think we leave that for another show.
No, it's a great one, because Cameron's father, Chris, had this 140 in Group 1, Lodge Group 1, and we did a 2-hour race together. It was the first rear-wheel drive car that I drove, and he's now got one of these cars, and he's restoring it and building a tribute replica kind of car. It was a lot of fun, that car, and it taught me a lot. And we had a lot of fun.
That was a front-wheel drive car, wasn't it? No,
Gary,
it wasn't.
Gary, I need you to focus. We said it was the first rear-wheel. Gary, your mind is like the scatterlings of Africa. Just pull all those troops together. Right, so we got some good driving. I think I'm in the slowest class, and I'll tootle around the back and have a bit of fun with Roy Aubrey, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, listen, I think this could be a good weekend for Roy, though, hey? Do you know that? He is leading the championship.
Well, I'm hoping that the guys at Swartkorps can not score me, and I don't want to interfere in anybody's championship. I don't want to score points. I'll just be like a lurker camera car. Can we arrange that?
I'm sure we could. We'll have a chat to Mark and Jono. We could do that. So what are you saying, that you're going to beat Roy?
No, I didn't say that. I'm just going to, if I can see the Porsche from the back, I'll be happy.
So, yeah, no, look, I think you're going to have fun. And, yeah, Roy, you can mix it up in his class. And
he's quick, eh?
No, he's very quick. And that Porsche is looking really good.
It's a Haval, by the way, and it just looks like a Porsche. But it's a Haval from Edenvale Haval.
Oh, I thought it was a Beetle.
It are a Hitlerwagen.
I'm staying out of this.
Somebody started. Right, so that's this weekend. Also on the calendar at Swartkorps. And there's a brilliant, they're busy shooting a TV commercial here. It's about birth control. So what they did was they brought a whole lot of brats who go, Mama. But we're not allowed to talk about that. Mama, please, I want to go home, Mama.
Mr. Justin Waddington tells us, sorry, let me just scroll down to get it.
And Gary's fully focused.
Colin always bloody good driver back in the day. You won't embarrass yourself. So that's a positive.
Justin, I hope not. It's a red car. Yeah, and thanks again to the partners. OMP from ATS Motorsport Supplies, Pirelli, Stradale Motorsport, Valve Fluid Systems, and also Ink Monkey and RaceDay.tv. I can carry on. There are a few more in the background. Dr. Heart Surgeon, who's going to tick my heart off tomorrow and tell me it's okay.
Which basically answers everybody's question. Marius Jackson asked, will they be reporting? Will you be reporting shed on the net afterwards?
Yes. So here's the deal. I may have bitten off a little bit more than I think I can chew, but you know what? Aim big, and you may just hit reality. So over and above our pit lane reporting duties of talking to the drivers and interviewing them before the time and checking out the pre-race paddock and finding out when there's a roll between Scribanti and Arangis because the one bumped the other one and wada all that stuff. So we're going to be doing that reporting. No, rivalry's good, and there's healthy rivalry there. It's like there's rivalry all over the place, and everybody, it's like ducks. On the top, they're all calm. Meantime, it's water polo. You've watched water polo, haven't you?
No, of course I have, yeah.
Okay, so water polo, on the top, the guys are doing all their stuff. Meantime, underneath, they are ricking and plicking and pulling and tugging and squeezing and doing all the stuff. So, the Arangis, Scribanti, and we're getting to Scribanti and Arangis' next little bit of rivalry on the 22nd of November. That's one of them. Your brothers, the brothers in the Lamborghinis. It's a fun day. It's going to be fun. So we're just going to be there. So that's what we're going to be doing.
Bit of advice from Ian. If anybody bumps you, take him out. No protest needed.
Yeah, Ian, I actually agree with you. And, just make sure that my move is into 2 and into, 2, 3, and into 4. Just right, super slow, right up tight with them. And if they get on, if you're really rubbing bumpers, there's no impact. And they just go, all they need is just a little and off into the litter. So, you know Dale Earnhardt?
Yes.
Dale Earnhardt was the original Intimidator. So, I'll tell you, I don't mind those stories. I really don't. About how anybody got in the way, boom. There was an Alpha Sud, Peter Todd. I'm sorry, but hey, you tried to go around the outside of Sunset. You can't do that. And the inside wall of Sunset was hard.
Very hard.
No, he moved it proper. But he went around the outside. I mean, do me a favor. I mean,
These things happen.
Yeah, it's
what they call racing.
Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator. I'm wearing black. I've just changed my mind.
Are we going all the way back to ATS tomorrow to change suits?
No, they did really good. I tell you what, they've got some new stuff coming now, the latest range. It's light. And it lasts longer in a fire. I dig all of the technology in clothes and helmets from when I raced. I had an Arai, a GP3, what. I thought was super. And it's a bunch of lead compared to what these guys have got now. What have you got? A helmet?
I've got like 3 or 4, but so I
well, excuse us as we do.
I actually drive. If I want to use the comms, I use my Steelos. If I don't need the comms, like during practices, I'll wear the bells. So.
And there I am. I've got. Thank you, Stuart Thompson, for agreeing to lend me one of the many helmets in your store. So I'm driving with a borrowed helmet.
A WCT helmet.
Yeah.
You could have had a 75 Ricky Lamborghini helmet.
Hey, Ricky, what size is your head? I mean, apart from Murava big, but what size is your skull?
Medium.
Now you see, I've got a large head. There's so much stuff inside. Every time Google updates my brain, it gets bigger and bigger. And we get faster. All right, enough of that. What else is on at Swartkorps this weekend? There are motorbikes, there's Formula 1600s, and there's mobile V8s. And this is their...
Russ Wheeler, yeah. My good old friend Terry Wilford, Russ Wheeler.
Why do you call him Russ Wheeler?
It's a long story.
Oh, well, we've got time. Tell us the story.
No, we got all night.
So Terry's got this thing. He likes to call me Ricky Bobby because, if you're not first, you are last. Shake and bake. And we were just myself and Johnny. We're in a little group between myself, Johnny, and Terry. And the one day he came up with something and he says, well, what do you guys think you are, Days of Thunder? And like when we went on there, we saw, Cole Trickle's biggest rivalry was Russ Wheeler, and lo and behold, if you actually look at it quite fast, it looks just like Terry Wilford.
Terry Wilford looks like anybody, but I don't think anybody talks. Anybody talks as much as Terry Wilford. Talking about that, I had a thought that just came into my brain, and it just went out about Days of Thunder. And but anyway, Terry's done a brilliant job with that Mobil 1 V8 cars, so I think that's going to be quite a lot of fun. What else is there on this weekend, Gary? At Swartkorps? Or have you also got a mind
block
blankage?
Well,
yeah, there's triple ones, and I never know which one, because there's basically, if you've got a car that runs in them, you run in triple one, super hatch, VW club, what, you can run in just about all of them.
Yeah, I think you could. I think it's just a big variety. No wonder they've got like 35, 40 cars on the field. But that's actually quite a good series, eh?
I'll tell you what, there's a little bit of robust driving there. Stian Kriel is bleating because he's had a few, should we call them incidents?
Yeah. That's the Motormart VW Challenge that he races in.
That used to be the Autobahn thing until Oak started whining and whinging and someone threw their toys out the car. Am I right?
Something like that, yeah.
Are you allowed to talk about it? If Oak's whining and whinging is not part of motorsport, because did I tell you that I love racing? Just motorsport in general. I love it. And I don't like whining and whinging. And your positivity comes through.
Just a quick one. Tanya Kritzinger from Swartkorps.
How's it, Tanya?
Okay. So she says, okay, there's triple ones, there's Formula Vs, V8s, super bikes, hang on, wait, and super hatches. That's
those are very lacquer, those things, eh? So and I'll tell you, in Formula Vs, I was at school with a guy by the name of Peter Hills. He's a lot greyer and older looking than I am. I've aged really well. It's almost like there's two time worlds in it. But those guys, they run on Hankook tires. They have a lot of fun in those cars, and it's kind of nice driving. And I can't wait to see some of the bikes for next year. There's that BMW that Lance Isaacs drives.
I believe
we saw him at Kyalami.
The S1000 RRM.
Yeah, okay, now that's the BMW version. Now Honda have got something. And I know it's 1000 RR R Fireblade. It hasn't been launched yet, but it is. I tell you what, I'm actually getting more and more into bikes and all that. I don't like MotoGP because it's so predictable, because that bloody Spaniard keeps winning. Do you like MotoGP? I mean, it's boring as hell. We know the Spaniard's going to win.
Love MotoGP. Hate Marc Marquez, but yeah, I mean, my guy is Valentino and Andrea Dovizioso, but because
Dovizioso's got it switched on this year, hey?
Not as much as he was last year, but there's nothing like an Italian. You got to support an Italian who rides an Italian bike. So.
That's why you like Valentino Rossi on the Yamaha.
Yeah, we could say that it's Yamaha Italia. So we'll just put it out there. Yeah,
it's sponsored by Fiat. So you're pretending it's a Fiat?
Yeah, he was sponsored by Fiat. I think.
So the Yamaha's a Fiat, and the Ducati's a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Because and a Lamborghini's actually a Volkswagen.
Yes.
So it's a Volkswagen.
But if you watch, actually, there's two Ducatis on that field. So the one Ducati for like Jack Miller, he's sponsored by Lamborghini, and then you've got Dovizioso, who's sponsored by Audi.
And
that's right. His team, the works team, is sponsored by Audi. Yeah.
And Gary, remind me of that other kid on the Yamaha who's come in and shaken the tree.
Quattrotaro.
No.
Vignales. Maverick Vignales. What a boy.
No, but Maverick's on a factory bike. You got to give it to Fabio Quattrotaro, is it? Yeah? He's on a Tech 3 bike, the Petronas bike.
Yeah, but you can't give factory things to everybody, man. You've got to earn it and get some good. So we're waffling again.
The whole year he's outperformed him.
Quattraro.
Yeah, he's outperformed Maverick Vignales. Only in the last 2 or 3 races because Vignales come.
Yeah, so Vignales took time to warm up. He's a kid. Give the guy a break. We got to just check this thing out. Higher Ground Restaurant. It's beautiful summer. Is it summer yet? Yeah, it is.
Yes, with the heat we have, it has to be summer.
What we haven't done is Hasty's helpful hints.
What have you done this time?
Have you not maybe taken a look at the weather forecast for the weekend?
It's going to be sunny and lovely. So Hasty's helpful hints. When you're sanding parquet floors, 2 things to remember. there's dust. Okay, well, we know this, okay? And the vacuum cleaner does stuff and industrial thing.
And you guys didn't have masks or goggles?
Remember to wear your mask, because otherwise you get dust in your nose and you wake up in the middle of the night with dusty snot, and it's not lekker. And you cough like hell with dust all over the place. And the other thing, Gary, is that on the spiral staircase that comes down to the ground floor from where you're standing on the upstairs, the fine dust that is smaller than talcum powder,
that you don't see until you put your foot in it.
It coats the wooden steps on the way down. And when you're wearing worn-out Salomon shoes and you're busy half on your phone going downstairs because the signal is so cuck opposite the Gautrain MTN, please can you do something about it? And you put your foot down and you go, ew. Remember to put your, no, you got your phone in your hand. You don't want to throw it on the ground, because remember to put your arm out so you can grab onto the banister, and then you end up with
a muscle.
Purple marks. Hasty's helpful hint number 345, chapter 7. There's no rain this weekend. It's not happening. Don't even go there. But because you know they did call me the Rainmaster.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'm in a 4-wheel drive with rain tires. So.
Doesn't matter. You can be in whatever. You can have a 9-wheel drive. With skill, age and treachery will always beat youth and exuberance. Jeff Goddard, quote of quotes.
Well, I'm glad you said I'm youth, so that's a good sign for me, I guess.
Well, you're looking all... that must be that haircut.
I want to know. Tell us about your dad's car, by the way.
It's yellow.
It's the only one in the country.
Okay, yeah. It was yellow. The car is no longer yellow.
What colour?
It's now gone back to the G&H corporate colours.
Blue, beautiful. It's my favourite colour, by the way.
Yeah, it's exactly like his 430 was. And if you could, it's actually, I think we actually went wrong. We've lost the lines with the car. When the car was yellow, it stood out. You could see that it was a 458 challenge. So we have...
it's a 458, not a 488 challenge.
No. It's not a 488. It's a 458 challenge. Stradale brought it in for us. Look, the car is beautiful, absolutely stunning. But when it was yellow, you could see the lines. You could see like the finesse of the Ferrari, and we've kind of lost it with putting.
So do we see possibly a little bit of pinstriping coming up before Saturday to emphasize the lines?
No ways. Because let me tell you something, Casmania did a fantastic job on the wrap. They did. You cannot see that car was any other color. They're just phenomenal. But I think going into the new year, we might have to look at something to bring the lines, because the Ferrari has got it's got an aggressive look to it when it's in the right color. I mean, a Ferrari is either yellow, white, red, and black. That's predominantly the main colors of a Ferrari.
Or blue if it was the North American racing team.
Yeah. And there's a couple of blue F12s running around, and a couple of silver ones. But
no, look, you in the circles that you roll with on the east there with Tashes and all the butts with their Ferraris. You guys see that. And here in Rondburg, we don't see much of those sort of things.
Yeah, I guess so. But our circles aren't that...
that's only because we don't have a Tashes in Rondburg.
No, it's in Sandton, doll.
Well, we can always go to Sandton for a Tashes.
But isn't Tashes like Wimpy? Wimpy own it. It's basically a glorified Wimpy, and they give you a Wimpy burger and charge us. I
know why we have a difficulty getting a seat or a table at those places.
No, the reason you've got a difficulty, Gary, you haven't been to a nightclub for a while, but the theory behind night clubbing is you always have a queue, even if the place is empty, because you always want what you can't get. So tell people that you can't get it.
Hire a crowd.
Yeah, hire a crowd, put them on the outside, and then you can't get in. That's what Tashes does it. They tell you to wait, and all the tables are empty there. Con artist. Right, so we're going back to the 458.
Yeah.
I believe that you've had it on the dyno and it now makes gazillions of horsepowers.
So look, the car arrived and it was sounding like a bit of a sewing machine when we took it out. I think it was choking. They call it, I think, the winter exhausts. The car arrived with winter exhausts. So we took it through to Van der Linde. He did an outstanding job. The car sounds amazing. I must be honest, it really does.
Was it Etienne?
Yeah, it was Etienne. He did the exhaust for us. We found, I think it was 15 to 18 kilowatt and 40 newtons on the car. improvement on our dyno. So, there's none of the story that it was like, oh, well, different temperatures on the different dyno. It was on our dyno at the same time of the day. Maybe different days, maybe 1 or 2 degrees difference in temperature, but the car did make a reasonably good gain on it.
But does it sound lekker? That's the thing. Never mind the powers.
No.
Does it sound proper?
It now sounds like a Ferrari. It really screams. It's a phenomenal car. It really is.
Ferrari, gotta love them. I'm looking for the red number 27. If you're looking for a car to support this weekend, go for the red number 27, driven with verve. So that's going to be this weekend. Full field of racing. Swartkorps always puts on a good show.
Yeah.
There's family entertainment. They've got that food lane there.
Yeah.
There's Boerewors. There's Braaivleis.
They do a great job. I mean, Swartkorps are really, the hospitality there is really good. So, I mean...
And the toilets are clean.
Yeah, they are. And the food at, I think it's Chicane's, is also pretty awesome. I think Tanya, Mel, Jono, Mark, they put on a good show down there. So, yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
This is the grand finale for the year. Now, I know GNH has a couple of things up for grabs in the different classes, but not only that, all the other classes are also up for grabs as far as titles are concerned, etc., etc. So those of you that actually want to get down and watch some good racing, because when there's titles up for grabs, you find the guys that actually know where they've got to be are going to be racing a little bit harder than what they normally do. So it's going to make for exciting racing in all the classes all the way through the field this weekend.
And I'll tell you what, going to a racetrack is a hell of a lot better than mowing the lawn. So all you guys who claim to be motorsport lovers, get your ass out to Swartkorps this weekend. And talking about getting asses down to places, in 2 weeks' time, just a week after Swartkorps, Kyalami 9 Hour, 22-23 November. Next week we're going to have one of the guys from Tom from the 9 Hour on the show, and we're going to talk. There's a whole lot of places we're supposed to be next week. We're going to see Henny de Klerk's unveiling of his Dakar buck here, Terence Marsh Red Line experience thing. And if you're looking to if you're looking for an experience on off-roading, hook up with Terence. So there's that. There's also the arrival of some of the cars. The Bentleys are going to the Toyota workshop, the Hall Speed workshop, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. There's 2 Nissans that are going to Marsh's workshop,
That's right.
And then the rest of the cars start arriving. But they've made a couple of changes to the ticketing and the rules and stuff.
That's interesting.
That goes on for Kyalami. I'll try. I had a briefing and I was emailed a cheat sheet. Thank you very much, Lizelle. The bottom line is that I think the experience of the BMW car, the M Festival, which was phenomenal, showed how and showed JRA and the Joburg municipality and their safety department that you can bring cars in and out of Kyalami. And the rules, it wasn't made by Kyalami, it was made by the powers that be, the politicians. So they've now allowed for cars to come into the circuit, and in those cars you can have gazebos and umbrellas and cooler boxes. But in your cooler box, please don't put booze and glass in it. Glass is self-explanatory. It's, a bit off, and you can't put booze in there. So get inventive with all the stuff in the plastic bottles.
But that's exciting.
And you can put food in there as well.
People can actually
You can
now
start
get into the circuit.
getting that camping vibe going. And that's into the general access area, which is around the outside, and also for the fan zone. So there's 2 events happening on the inside of the circuit. For those of you who know where the skid pan is, that's fan zone, which is basically a music area, but you can also see the track. You bring your cooler boxes in the car. They're going to charge 100 Rand per car, and the reason for that is that hopefully mates will hook up and fill one car, so they'll basically want full cars coming in. So cooler boxes are cool, no booze, no glass. What else have we got here? Gazebos, camping chairs and umbrellas are okay, but if you've got those things, you need to tie them down in case there's a gust of wind that comes along. And then the other thing is that there's a 5 or more, an option on the site, and Kyalami 9 with a 9 that way. You got to reverse it so that they think Kyalami9hour.com. There's a 5 or more, you get 20% discount on the tickets. So there's a whole lot of options. Gary, sort the links out.
I will
and,
put the
and
links
all
in.
rest of
Everybody
it.
just go to the links in the comment section and we'll put it up there. You can go to the site and I will look for them just now. And you can upload and go and get your tickets, go and get it all sorted. Make sure you get to Kyalami in 3 weeks,
There's-
2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
But
There's
first of all, Swartkops this weekend.
Okay, and also after Swartkorps, we're going to the Wildcat Energy Rally. So we'll only be there on the Sunday, and we're going to be doing the pit lane stuff, and that's going to be interesting because after the last rally, which was in, where was it? Near the museum, the Transport Museum, Babbelasfontein.
Victoria.
Yeah, Dronkfortspruit. It was brilliant. You've got to go to that Transport Museum. RCA Potgieter and Nico Swart, they run in the turbo polo. And there was a protest because there was a hole in the bumper.
Yes.
And they got excluded. But that car's under development, and the concept of that car is to bring it into a fully developed state and run it in 2020. So there are various homologation forms, and one of the homologation forms may have a hole in the bumper. And apparently you got no performance gain in it.
Yeah, because it's not doing anything.
Gary,
Well,
a hole,
does a lot of things.
but we're not going to go there. Anyway, so he's back in, and after the race, their team was a bit demurring, so they threw their toys out, said to everybody, the car's up for sale. They retired, but calmness prevailed, and sense prevailed, and they've come back, and that's going to be an exciting one. Now, the reason that we mention them is Simon Vaitsilal, who, along with Guy Bottrell, Guy Bottrell's won the championship. Simon is 2 points ahead of Nico Swartz. And so that's the race for Navigators Championship.
That's right.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And it can rain like hell on Sunday, so we can have a muddy race, a muddy rally. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. But on the 9 hour, you'll have seen a lot of the noise, Team Perfect Circle. If there's, and I've just forgotten the hotel, the Capital in Sandton. They've got the replica of David Piper's Team Perfect Circle Porsche 917 there. Go and have a look at it. It's really neat. It's really tidy. And the story behind that is that a couple of interesting ones. They got sponsors on board, one of them being Coke, and the car looked like it wasn't ever going to run. And then Piper said, well, it's already got the stickers on the car, so please, if it finishes, pay some money. And so Andre Bezuidenhout has replicated
It's the
that.
same deal that Piper put together.
Yeah, so
What you do,
there's...
Piper goes out and wins it.
Gary, that's what we were talking about. And the same deal that Gary, you're still not focusing. That brain has gone to scrambled eggs now. It's not the scatterlings of Africa. It's the scramblings of eggs. So Scribanti is in that with Advocate Bezuidenhout, and that's going to be a cool one. You've got the Stradale Motorsport Lamborghini. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the South African teams. I think everybody's in for a surprise at the level of professionalism that the Europeans bring. And I think that, Ricky, we can probably learn something about from the preparation and from the presentation of stuff that the guys are going to bring.
Yeah, look, I think we could. I mean, it's not to say that we don't know what we're doing here, but
it's a presentation that's really good.
100%. I mean, if you see, I think it's also based, the presentation can be as extravagant as you want it to be if you got the financial backing, obviously. And these guys are coming with some big financial backing. And I think it is something that we can learn from because, in all honesty, some of our guys set up here, like I said, we do it on a budget, but it'll open up our eyes to something differently completely.
I think that and it's something I actually learned in just going through the process of getting into this Ferrari, the level of care and detail that the Stradale guys have taken just with the setup and the stuff they've shared with me. I'm quite impressed with that. Also the way you guys and Scribanti Racing, there's a lot of care and love and attention on the stuff that you can't you don't see that often. It's when you've got the dancing girls and all the rest of it and the bling. You guys know about bling. When are you going to bring some bling to GNH?
Oh, we've got some bling at GNH. We've got some bling. We just don't like to show it. So,
So you want to say Tuka's not racing this weekend?
Mr. Mechanicos.
Yeah.
Tuka, bring your car. We've got to see it there. So I've got special new shades that that thing is buffed. I mean, he's one of the true characters of racing.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of proper characters when you go around the back of the pits. The guys are having a jaw.
No, they are. I mean, Tuka is a prime example. Myself and Tuka, we go back many, many years. Tuka used to drive one of our cars as well, while the Mercedes was getting fixed. It's a beast of a car. I love Super T. We call him Super T. He can never answer the phone without calling you a cousin. So,
and your answers when he says, "How's it, my cousin?" I'm fine, but how are you, brother?
no. Like I said, Tuka's part of the furniture with us. He's a good guy, so we love him dearly. And he is one of the characters around the track. And he's a good laugh, so yeah.
I want to see Peter Zeely in that MR2 as well. So apparently, I've been told there are cars to look out for.
Yes.
So I've got to use the mirrors. And interestingly, I said to Richard Rutz about something about mirrors, and he says, "Yeah, you only need to use mirrors if you're slower than everybody else." So I'm going to be using a mur of a lot of mirrors. Gary, we need to focus here and get with the program here.
Yeah.
And then next weekend is the Macau World Cup.
Yeah. And we got young Kelvin van der Linden.
Kelvin in his favorite car.
Yes.
And that car, it's going to be his Kailami car, so Kelvin, look after it. It flies straight from there to here and sorted for
And then
the
also
9
next
hour.
weekend, the same weekend is the last round of Moto 2 and Moto 3 with the two South African brothers in. That's Darren and Brad Binder.
And let's see if Brad can shut it off with another win.
Yeah.
Because the
He should
guy's
be able
quick,
to.
eh? I
He's
mean,
done it.
winning on the same day as the Springboks. It was. No, the
Yeah.
day after the Springboks.
No, you what?
Fifth for the year, isn't it?
Yeah, he's fourth winner of
He's
the
done
year.
4, but if he wins next weekend, fifth for the year.
Fifth for the year, yeah.
Mathemagic's got you.
Yeah, a little bit, I mean, kind
Re-
of a genius on most days, so yeah.
Remember, English is important, but maths is importanter. And thank you to you guys who've pointed out my conversion from miles an hour to kilometers an hour is cock. But I got it. I'll remember the decimals. But I'll still go with a multiply by 8, divide by 5. Easiest.
Analyzing all the comments, everybody's just wishing you the best of luck with your driving this weekend.
Thank you very much, guys.
And they want to hear your exciting story. And guys, I promise you, I will be on his case with a microphone, getting out the car. I actually want to catch him when he's breathless and say, and answer a question for you. Let's see how the weekend
Gary,
pans
I'm a
out.
machine. I don't get breathless.
Let's see
I
how the
just
weekend.
pant.
Let's see how the weekend pans out. But besides that, we'll have microphones in guys' cars. We'll be talking to drivers. We're talking to everybody in the GNH.
We're going to work the pit lane
Yeah.
hard.
GNH Extreme Transport Extreme Supercars. So be with us. We'll bring it all to you live as much as we possibly can. We're going to try a couple of surprises. Hopefully they work. But let's see what Saturday brings to us.
I'm told
Mm-hmm.
that we're going to try and stream from inside my car.
Yes, that's
I'm
why I said a
told.
couple of surprises.
No, Gary, we don't do surprises. If you say it out there, it's a bold thing. It's done. Now we've just got to do it. And it's come to around about that time. Episode 104 of Waved Yellow from the higher ground. Thank you very much for watching. Ricky, thank you very much for the long drive from there to here and sharing the time and being open with us. And we look forward to seeing you bright and breezy Friday morning. Are you bringing the coffee?
I've got to stop at Tasha's on the way in, so yeah, I'll bring the coffee. It's not a problem.
He does one of those latte things with an extra shot.
Oh, yeah, why
Don't
not?
ask me what that is. I have no idea.
Gary,
Because it's got milk in it.
you don't get 12-volt coffee. It should all be 24 volts.
You can sit in the trailer and grab one, no problem.
Awesome. That was an invite to sit in the trailer. Right. On that note, boys and girls, thank you very much for watching. We will catch you on Friday from trackside at Swartkorps. Come and join us there. Come and say hello. Come and meet all the drivers at the GNH Transport Extreme Supercars series. They're a great bunch of guys. And, it's going to be great racing. Thanks for watching. Join us on Friday. Cheers.